I'm really glad that we have this forest behind the lake house just to get away to. I think that's like the third time that Aunt Sharon has tried to tell us the story about how she woke up in the middle of her heart transplant. Yeah. I mean, I get the similarities to Alien. I just don't understand why Uncle Frank keeps suggesting it for movie night. Totally. Dude, you been listening to me? Yeah. Okay, then what did I say? You said that you wanted to hear about Aunt Sharon's heart transplant. I heard she almost made it out of the room with her chest all Nope. I said I did not want to hear about it. Sorry, I was distracted. Fine. Hey, that's a pretty cool bird. Yeah, that's a golden-crowned kinglet, actually. Okay. Oh, there's another one. Yep, that's a yellow-rumped warbler. They're very common. I mean, it's just a cool-looking bird. Ooh, that one's different. Look at that one. Ooh, now that's something special. That is a flat-faced, dingy-footed, red-cheeked hopperscotcher, flim-flam Zuckerberg, fuzzy-winged, double-doo-doo, mega-tushy, cockatronic, uh-oh spaghettio, Mary-Kate Ashley Olsen, bearded finch. Do you guys remember The Big Year? I'm sure it's a movie that most of you watching, if you're my age, probably remember from your childhood. I know it's not really a kid's movie. To me, it has the same energy as something like Furry Vengeance, Evan Almighty, or Mr. Popper's Penguins. Yeah! Why were we so obsessed with CG animals in the early 2000s? I will never understand the trends of children's movies. But speaking of trends and trendy things, The Big Year is a film all about the incredibly niche trend of birding, or commonly and incorrectly referred to as birdwatching. The film depicts a real-world event where birders compete to find out who can see the most unique species of birds. And when I say unique, I mean different. The most different species of birds in a single year. Part of the intrigue and comedy about this movie is that birding is kind of weird, and so are birders. Honestly though, no judgment here. I can totally see birding as a valid hobby, a valid lifestyle even. So this week we're getting down into the nitty-gritty, incredibly specific, most minuscule of gripes that I could possibly be pissed off about. Because I take no issue with birders. I take no issue with birding. Hell, I take no issue with birds. But as you may have guessed from the not so subtle at all intro, I do take issue with people that tell you the exact species of a bird after you call it just a bird. Like I said, incredibly minuscule. Or is it? Let's gripe about it, shall we? Hello everyone, welcome to Gripes. I'm your host, Noah DeGeorge. Before we absolutely decimate the entire birding community for having a passion at all in the first place, first, we need to talk about why this gripe even has to exist. There are so many birds. Like, just in general, there are so many birds. Like, by population, scientists estimate that there are anywhere between 50 billion, with a B as in bird, 50 billion and 430 billion living birds on the planet. And somehow, all of them manage to make the trip to my parking spot to bust a grumpy before I leave for work. But also, from a diversity standpoint, yeah, still a lot of birds. Researchers have identified nearly 11,000 unique species of bird over all of recorded history. So naturally, here's where we run into the problem. Other species are just so recognizable that the biological class of aves can't compete. One look at this, immediately recognizable as a rabbit, or even this, and it's recognizable as just a monkey. But birds don't get off so easy. Obviously, there are some exceptions. I mean, if you were to see one of these guys walking around, you'd say, wow, look at that flamingo. Or one of these guys, wow, it's a penguin or a peacock. Don't you look at me like that, The Office, okay? You'll get your own episode, just you wait. Don't get me wrong, I love taxonomy and biology, and the animal kingdom is a vastly unique and interesting world. But birds have really gotten the short stick when it comes to names. Pop quiz, what kind of bird is this? That would be a dark-eyed junco, you idiot. Or how about this one? No, you moron, that is a tufted titmouse. All I'm saying is there are just too many birds for all these ridiculous names to be common knowledge. Now, I hear you saying,
how are fish any different? I mean, there are so many species of fish. Why aren't you talking about people who correct you on their names?
Well, like I said, there are so many birds, but it's not just that there are so many of them. It's that, like my dear friend Alfred Hitchcock taught me, you can never escape birds. Isn't that right, Al? Say hi to the camera, go on. No, he's a little shy. Anyways, fish, on the other hand, aren't going to be bothering you anywhere outside of water, so the chances are, if you come across a fish with some kind of wacky name, you were probably looking for it in the first place. And this brings me to my next point, the birders themselves. The people that know all these random bird names and correct you on it are fanatics. I mean, they just are. And I get it. We're all fanatics about some things. For me, it's Star Wars. Right back there, I've got 2 shadow boxes with original 1999 Phantom Menace toys that have been signed by the actors that portray those figures. So, fanatic is a pretty good word. But if I'm being fanatic about Star Wars, it's because I've been called upon to do so, either in conversation or just being asked a nerdy question that I probably know the answer to. This is where birders are at a disadvantage, and the second half of why this gripe exists. Like I said, birds are inescapable. I guarantee if I look out that window, my yard is going to be filled with a bunch of birds like it always is. You literally cannot set foot outside of your house without seeing a bird. So we've established the grounds for this gripe. 1, there are just too many birds to not call them just birds. And 2, birders are going to be in their element anytime they go outside. So is that it? Are people who are obsessed with birds just doomed to be the actually guys whenever they're around anyone ever? I mean, is it even fair for me to be mad about something that people can't change? Here's where things get a little bit iffy for me. Like I mentioned before, birders can't help the fact that the thing that they love is everywhere. But is there any room for self-control? I mean, I don't know. Is it insensitive for me to tell birders that, much to no one's surprise, no one cares about the specific name of whatever bird keeps Pearl Harboring my car? Honestly, yeah, that would be insensitive. People love what they love, and it's better when people can be bold about whatever that passion is. I'm gonna be honest, I went into writing this episode thinking it'd be funny and jokey to be like,
hey bird loser, shut up about birds, nobody wants to hear about that garbage anymore.
But honestly, after watching The Big Year, I think I figured it out. The reason I hate when people actually me about birds specifically is because I'm on the outside. If I gave a shit about birds, you wouldn't be watching this video right now. If I'm on the outside about something, everything that gets forced down my throat about it is going to feel pretentious and snobby. And this is where my gripe began. I do think it's pretentious and snobby to actually people about something that really has no bearing on their life whatsoever. And I do think that that goes for all hobbies, not just birds. If there's one thing that you never do with your hobby, it's force it on other people. Again, just across the board, good advice. But here's where I realized that my platform, albeit only 13 subscribers tall at this point, shouldn't be about stomping on other people for loving what they love and sharing what they love with the people that they love, whether or not those people love it like they love it. Did you follow all that? I'll just get to my main point. For the people that love birds, or love anything for that matter, you are doing yourself no favors by surrounding yourself with people that find you insufferable because the thing that you love does not translate for them. And I'm not here to tell you that you should pack up your binoculars and your bird calls just so people will love you. But here's what I will say. Make a conscious effort to surround yourself with people that love what you love. Life in your hobby is going to be enjoyed so much more when it's shared, and that goes for everyone. The reason I don't force my wife to talk about Star Wars is because I get to talk about it for 2 hours straight with my good friend and fellow Star Wars fanatic Garrett McDowell. Check out the Scum and Villainy podcast, link in the description. But if I didn't have an outlet like that, my friends would probably know me as the guy who can't shut up about Star Wars. I'm sure that there are people out there who think that their hobby is incredibly obscure. But check this out, there are close to 45 million Americans that are into birding. So if you're thinking that your passion is misunderstood, guarantee you a million other people feel the same way that you do, and they're just waiting to find someone who sees what they see. And this is my last point, because I feel like we could all use a little self-reflection. If there's someone that you know that has tried to pull you into a game of Dungeons and Dragons, or has talked to you for an hour about anime, or has recommended a type of music that they're obsessed with, honestly, give it a shot. At the beginning of the pandemic, I didn't really have an active hobby. I just knew I didn't want to sit in the house all day. I couldn't be more thankful for forcing myself to play disc golf with my brother, something that I had despised for years because it seemed like inside baseball. Or I guess inside disc golf. The point is, back then, I forced myself to try it, and now I can't imagine any other sport being as fascinating as disc golf is. I know that the phrase, "don't knock it till you try it," seems a little hokey and cliche, and I'm not here to say that you're a dum-dum if you do knock things before you try them, because yeah, not everyone is going to love everything. And while "don't knock it till you try it" is sort of what I'm saying, it's only half of it. Okay, to those people, stop feeling bad for being on the outside of things when the inside is readily available for you. All it takes is that one step. And for the people who routinely force their hobbies onto others, stop limiting how much you can enjoy the thing that you love. Because in the end, we're all passionate about our own things. But the truth is that you'll enjoy them exponentially more when you get to share them with someone who loves it too. Well, look who's back.
Yeah, I mean, I figured I'd had enough once Aunt Sharon got to the part where she explained how her boobs touched in the back. Ugh, I know. Well, I have some bad news too. Turns out it was just a regular house finch. So, what was that thing you were telling me about earlier? You were planning on doing something, it's like a big year or something like that? I'd love to tell you about it.
Thanks for griping with me today. If you're interested in getting to know me, your host, and what else I do here on the internet, you can check out all the links down in the description below for all the different projects I'm a part of. But enough about me. I'll see you on the next episode of Gripes.